Hey everyone, and welcome back to Sporterbox. So we just had a action-packed weekend in the Premier League with some results we expected from our early review, and some which probably were a bit of a shock. We'll touch on those in a bit, but let's jump right into it and dive into the Tottenham versus Chelsea game, and I'll kind of kick this one off. I said in my review that I'd be very impressed and surprised if Chelsea rocked up to Spurs' ground and delivered a 2-0, 3-0 win, and that's exactly what they did. So I think in my opinion, Chelsea have set the marker down now. As they're kind of the favourites in the league based on their performances, grinding out some tough away wins as well, and tough away draws. Obviously, 10-man against Liverpool at Anfield, that was a very good result they got there. And credit to Tuchel and the team. Really, take your hat off to them. Really, I think in the first half, Spurs definitely had their chances. Were definitely in the game. Bringing Kante on in the second half changed it for Chelsea. Gave them a lot more kind of attacking options. I thought at first they might bring him on to kind of steady the ship a bit, but they great tactical change there to free the attackers even more and let them do the business. And I think Spurs just completely fell apart in the second half, and the result, it was what it was. Let's see, what's your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I think Chelsea are pretty much the complete side. I think they played Arsenal, they played Spurs, they played Liverpool, and they're still sitting top of the league at the moment. Really good performance. I think the first half was, I think Chelsea were a little bit taken back. Spurs played quite aggressively, they put it on them, and I don't think Chelsea really expected that. I think Spurs have played quite conservatively and quite deep. In the other bigger games that they've played so far this season. I remember City, they played quite compact, quite Nuno-esque, as it were, and they obviously hit City on the break and they were able to get the win. But I didn't expect that this game. I thought they would be better than they were, especially in the second half. But I think they played quite well in the first. And Dombele for me stood out like a sore thumb. I thought he was really, really good, top quality player. Um, but they just weren't creating enough chances. And I think, you know, when you're going for that kind of style that I think Nuno went for, which is to get the 1-0 and then sit back, it's really dangerous when you don't get that one goal. And then when
Yeah,
you don't, you know, and you leave it to half time, like Tuchel, experienced coach, he's one of the best in the business, and he knew exactly what he was going to do at half time. He brought Kante on, he brought some of the wing backs on, and it was just so much better, so much more fluid. Kane's still struggling. I think he had what, 3 touches, 4 touches yesterday. I'm not sure how many touches in the box he had. I remember a wayward shot from like 40 yards out, which was like, what are you doing? Did nothing but
yeah.
lose the ball.
He's not the best start, is he? Got 4 appearances in stats. It's 4 shots, 4 chances created, and only 10 touches in the opposition box. And I don't, the service hasn't been great. And there was a lot of talk before the season started, obviously, when he was kept at Spurs. A lot of talk was his head be in it. And I thought, his head definitely would be in it because he wants to score goals, wants to continue breaking records. But I just think, it's not a steady ship at the moment. And I look back now, maybe Spurs should just cashed in, got the money for him, and then rebuilt, to be honest, rather than keeping a player that obviously doesn't want to be there. He's not going to be breaking his back, I don't think, for Tottenham anymore. I thought he would, but part of it is the service, but then second part of it is he's just not. He just doesn't look like the Kane that you expect to see, really. And in terms of international duty, he bangs goals in and comes back to Tottenham, and it's just he's not even noticeable on the pitch at all.
Yeah, there's a couple of things to know there. I think Kane's always a slow starter, so he's always gonna, I think it was a running joke for years that he takes holiday off in August and he comes firing in September. But I think there's an element of truth in the international thing that you mentioned. Like he's clearly happier in the England setup. He gets a lot more chances coming through when you've got players, who can create for him. Um, I didn't see many chances yesterday for Spurs, and I think without Son there, it's tough. Um, and even with Son playing, like, it's they're playing against a very, very good Chelsea side, and You can see that Kane's frustrated. He doesn't want to be there.
Yeah,
Hindsight's a wonderful thing. I think we can all sit here and say, well, maybe Spurs should have cashed in, but 150 million. How are you going to replace Harry Kane? Because the problem is, even if you get 150 million for Harry Kane, you're not going to be able to replace that kind of player because the way Spurs are playing at the moment, the position that they're in,
you
no top players never want to come and play for Spurs.
you're not, but that's part of, I guess, the rebuilding stage, right? Find the players that actually want to be there, develop a squad, and look to the future. Because you say you're not going to replace Harry Kane, but the version of Harry Kane they got now, in my eyes, is very replaceable. Obviously, he's apparently he starts slow, as seen before. But I think if you've got a very unmotivated player there, it's going to bring down the morale of the rest of the team. So I just think seen it before with Liverpool, my club, that we've cashed in at the right time, got rid of the players and rebuilt from it. And I think Tottenham,
You guys have
shouldn't have been worried about. Pardon?
Liverpool had players around them at the time. I mean, I can't remember the exact Liverpool squad at the time, but when you saw Coutinho for 150 million,
We reinvested it into Van Dijk and Alisson, which is obviously seen as
but you still had
massive.
the other players around them. At Spurs, apart from Son, I don't really see anybody there that you can build a team around.
Yeah, but that's what they could put. I mean, 150 mil for Kane, you can get a few top quality, at least 3 top signings for that, and start to rebuild, right? I just don't see keeping a player that's unmotivated at the club any longer.
Say
Really?
top signings. Which top signings are going to go to Spurs and not go to the other top 6 clubs if they were offered? And if they were top 6,
Yeah, if they were
if they are
offered, if they were offered, but you see teams like United and Chelsea, they're interested in the 70 mil plus signings, the big signings. There's obviously some gems out there that I'm sure Tottenham could attract. If they got that cash at hand, pay some good wages, get some players in. I just think if it continues like this, I think Levy will look back and think he might have won the moral and the kind of battle of egos with the City board in terms of keeping Kane, but I think in the long run it can actually hurt Tottenham more. And I'm hearing Tottenham fans today after aftermath saying they don't think top four's way out the window, hoping for top 6. And I think what's the point in keeping hold of a player just to finish in top 6? To start the rebuild now, because all you're doing is delaying it, and you're creating more unrest in your fan base, and you most likely end up having another manager get fired and then start again. It's just I just still scratch my head as to why they fought so hard to keep Kane when they had the opportunity to get the deal done early in the window. And then now we could be looking at a new, fresh Tottenham team and Nuno could build from scratch rather than having a player who's just dragging his feet and causing unrest.
No, I get that. I'm just looking at it from what we've seen this window. We've had, I think, 5 or 6 managers turn down the Spurs job for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Conte pretty much laughed at the project and said, "Well, I'm not going to get myself involved in a losing project." Right? And then, so that's the managers. You've gone through 5 different managers and you've ended up with Nuno, right? Then you're looking at the players, and there's a story, I don't know if you know, but Jules Koundé from Sevilla. So he was in talks with Chelsea. He got offered at Spurs, and he turned around and said, "No, I'd rather not go to Spurs." They were willing to match his wages. They were willing to give him the contract. Terms of the contract were not a problem. He just turned around and said, "No, I don't want to go to Spurs." Like, that's what I'm saying. And he's plays for Sevilla at the moment. So it's not as if he's downgrading from Bayern Munich down to Spurs.
No. But then that goes back to my point. Is like, what's the project at Spurs? The project this summer was keep Harry Kane. As a player, is that going to excite you to join the team that's just focused on keeping one player? Whereas if you had, new players coming in, you had it's going to take Nuno some time to put his identity on the team. But I think once they get that, players might want to join the project, and see where they can go. Because it's all good to say, I'm waiting out for that Chelsea or United or City, but if they don't come knocking, you need to then go to the next best kind of string of teams, and Tottenham at the moment falls into that. So, yeah, I guess, we're looking at 2 teams at complete opposite trajectories. Remember, Chelsea, storming the league, Tottenham just on a free fall after a very good start. And, I think next week against Arsenal, that, for me, if I was a Tottenham fan, I'd be very nervous going into that game. I wouldn't have 2 games. I'll be very happy facing Arsenal to kind of stick the knife in a bit more. But I think, now, Arsenal fans must be buzzing. Tottenham fans are definitely nervous. And I think, if Arsenal pull a win off there, go above them after all the stick that they were getting from Spurs fans after the first 3 games, that mentally is going to be a massive blow to them. So, I'm definitely can't wait for that game. Cool. Let's move on to West Ham versus Man United. Just not much controversy in this game, so I'll let you kick this off with your boys in red this evening. Let me know what you thought about that game.
That was a good game, really, really good game. I thought the quality of the game was pretty good. I thought West Ham played well. I thought United played well as well. We go 1-0 down, pretty much against the run of play. And then obviously that man again, Ronaldo, scoring a typical CR7 goal. Keeper mistake, but he scores. And then it's pretty even. And then you've got 3 penalty shouts for Ronaldo. And it's inconceivable that anyone would suggest that at least 2 of them were not penalties. 2 of them stone cold. And the only reason really why I think they weren't given was because it was Ronaldo that was at the front of it. Whether you think about it,
He's definitely bought the penalty though, hasn't he? When you look, especially in real time, it looks like he's been wiped out. But then when you see it, he's already going down, dragging his feet before the contact's made. So I'm not saying for it. I think the second one was a penalty, but he's definitely bought them, and I can see why they weren't given. But yeah, I definitely think the second was a stonewall penalty for me.
If someone goes down and they buy it, it doesn't make it any less of a penalty. Like if there's contact there, there's contact there.
Yeah.
Right? And 2 of them at least. The last one, like 100%. I mean, literally, you've got to break a leg to get a penalty when it's Ronaldo. You know?
Do you reckon Wan-Bissaka was lucky not to give away a penalty against Suke? I think he was.
Yeah, that was a penalty as well.
Yeah,
that was a penalty as well. And the Luke Shaw one at the end was a penalty as well.
Yeah.
So the Wan-Bissaka one, for me, stone cold penalty. Like we got lucky to get away with that one, but then we've not been given 2 penalties as well, which was stone cold. So a little bit concerning there. But then you've got the last 10 minutes, and then at the time for me it was just like, Ollie, what are you doing? So he's taken off Sancho and he's put on Lingard, and he's taken off Pogba and he's put on Matic. 10 minutes to go, we need a goal to win. And then I'm just like, what the hell is he doing? Like, you're not doing yourself any favours here. And then in the 89th minute, you've got Matic, the sub, puts a great through ball in for Lingard, who then turns around and scores a worldie. And then it's 2-1, and you're thinking, great, Ollie's done a madness here. He's done some in-game management course or something, and he's, got away with one. And then obviously Luke Shaw handles the ball, and then 95 minutes in, you got a penalty to West Ham. I didn't disagree with the fact that Noble comes off the bench to take the pen. I think I totally see why he did it, and obviously we all know De Gea comes out and saves the pen, the first one in like 6 years or something, 7 years. I don't disagree.
What he thinks like 40, 44, 46 penalties he's gone without saving.
Yeah. I mean, 10 of them were probably in the penalty shootout.
Not saving a penalty. Yeah. See, I disagree with Noble coming on taking a penalty. I can't believe that happened. I mean, when you step back now, my man's taken off his bib, his kit. He's run the whole length of the pitch, and then literally first kick of the ball, missed it with a terrible penalty. I just don't get, I was thinking, did Moyes not watch the Euro final or something? Because, it's proven you can't bring guys on who are cold and expect them to take the most important kick in the game. I just think, give it to Rice. Rice picked up the ball, give them the responsibility, let him take it.
Got we've got a couple of things to factor in here. So in the Euros, we're talking about Sancho, we're talking about Saka, we're talking about these young, inexperienced players who have just come on stone cold, right? Who aren't regular penalty takers, by the way. Let's not.
Rashford's a proven penalty taker. Sancho as well.
But they're still fairly inexperienced, right?
What Rashford got, age and pressure, maybe, but.
And then you got Noble, who's come in, a proper veteran, proper proven penalty scorer. Up until yesterday, I think he had the best penalty record in Europe. most goals from penalties in Europe consistently. I think Bruno's second to Noble. So I understood the logic. And the other thing to factor in is the person who picked the ball up was Declan Rice. He scored one of two penalties. And apart from that, I was looking, no one is screaming out to Moyes saying, I'll take the pen, I'll take the pen. You know, usually you get a couple of people who are like fighting for the ball, and we've
Yeah,
seen
but
that.
I think when you've seen him getting Noble to warm up and stuff, you've got to be very, even Rice, then you've got to be very, very brave to then put up a fuss to then take a penalty, because if you miss, you're going to get even more. Whereas I'd rather Moyes just let the boys on the pitch work it out, take the penalty and go from there, because I think, the odds are against you. If you're coming on completely cold, I don't care if you scored 100 penalties in a row, you're coming on cold just to take a penalty kick when you're 2-1 down, last kick of the game. I just think it's and you saw the penalty was horrible. The penalty was terrible.
It was terrible. I mean, it's the same for keepers though, in a way. I mean, you looked at Van Gaal, he put on Krul in a penalty shootout for the Netherlands, right? And he won them the match. We've seen Kepa for Chelsea do it in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think keepers are a bit different though, and they're shot stopping. They're not stepping up to try and slot it away. And I just think, if we go back 2 points here, if we go back, let's say West Ham get a penalty in after 25 minutes, he's not bringing Noble on to take the penalty then. It just makes no sense to bring him on in the 90th minute when he's cold. He's literally got his training bib on when he's been called up, and he's literally got undressed, ran the whole length of the pitch, and then just fluffed it. Let the boys on the pitch. And I think, imagine if it was United and Ronaldo was on the bench and Oli brought on Ronaldo to take the penalty instead of Fernandes. It just doesn't make any. It doesn't make any sense.
No, I get it. I think Moyes was just looking at Noble's history and he's thinking, well, he is the point taker there, and it's
But he couldn't even watch it, could he? He couldn't even watch the penalty. It's like he kind of knew in the back of his mind, just thinking, what have I done here? Literally, in the group chats, no one was thinking Noble was going to score. It was going to come on and miss. It's just, for me,
he had two written all over it for me. I was gobsmacked that day. I saved it. And fair play to him. He's had a really good start to the season.
Yeah, he's definitely got his number one spot back. I can't hear any Henderson chat at the moment. De Gea's number one until he starts making mistakes again, which I'm sure will come. But until then, he's number one. I think it sets United up in a good spot, with obviously Liverpool winning, Chelsea winning afterwards, City dropping points, which come on to in a minute. I think United, that was a 3 points they needed to pick up, especially the way the league's looking. I think we're going to have another year where you're going to need 90 plus points probably to win it. You can't afford to drop points, at games like against West Ham and so on. So I think, for United, that's a good win. And then moving on,
especially with City dropping points, which I know we're coming on to now.
Let's get on to that.
It's a tough league, and this is probably. I mean, I genuinely can't remember the last time we had 4 teams with such high quality. This is a real tough league, and I think
it won't stay that way. We'll talk about this in a minute with Man City dropping points, but it's going to be come January. I reckon it's going to be a 2-horse race. I think the mental aspect of teams to keep pace is a lot. You saw when Man City didn't make 100 points, no one could keep up with them. Only Liverpool could keep up with them the next year, and that wasn't good enough. Liverpool obviously ran it away with it, and the other time, I think if there'll be teams. I think Chelsea are going to be the front runners, and I think it's going to be personally out with Man U and Liverpool to try and keep pace with them. I think what we're going to see of City is what we saw 2 years ago. Is they're going to fall a bit back, and then they're going to be off the pace for the rest of the season. Because moving on down to Man City, Southampton, I'm just concerned that they haven't got a striker. I said it before in the preview, even though I thought they were going to win 3-0. I said it before. I thought for me, it's absolute madness. They haven't signed an out-and-out striker. When you look at how Man United have strengthened, how Chelsea have strengthened, Liverpool got their players back. For them to just try and do it again without a striker is absolute madness to me. They need someone who can stick the ball in the back of the net, and I think that's proven at home. Drawing 0-0 to Southampton is just crazy.
I think it shows a level of arrogance from Man City that they didn't have a backup for Kane. They thought they were going to get him. Whether they've had that conversation with Harry Kane's brother Charlie, the agent, that look, deal's pretty much done. Kane's coming. Um, and it's obviously not happened because Levy's just said, "Oh no, tough shit, I'm not going to sell him." And obviously they came, they were trying to beg Ronaldo, and then obviously as soon as United were in the picture, then that was off the table as well. And Haaland's not going anywhere this season. Dortmund made that clear. So it's been difficult for them in terms of finding that proper number nine that they need. I mean, I still think it was a mistake to sell Aguero. I think it was, or not even selling, but letting go. Criminal, in my opinion, really, really criminal. But in terms of City as a team for the season, I think there's a I think there's a few frustrated players in that team, in that
Yeah,
squad. And I don't think Grealish is that £100 million striker player that everyone thinks he is. I think he can be, but I don't think he is yet. And you've still got Foden, who hasn't touched the ball yet. Morrow's
he came
pretty
on,
good.
didn't he? He came on and he nearly scored.
Yeah,
I don't know if Sterling messed that up or not, because Sterling kind of got to it on the line, didn't he, and kicked it in, but he was
mm,
offside. I don't know if he let Foden run onto it. It would have been a late goal for City. Yeah, that's a bit strange. But yeah, I think
yeah.
Foden obviously is getting back into the swing of it.
I think the biggest talking point from the game though was when Armstrong was pretty much clean through. He sent Diaz back to Benfica, and then Kyle Walker comes in trying to take him out from behind, and at first the referee gets it right, shows the red card, penalty spot, and then you're thinking Southampton are going to nick this 1-0, and they've reviewed this on the VIR screen about 10 times. They've taken about 3 or 4 minutes to look at it, and the ref has absolutely bottled it. No other discussion for me is bottled it, because Armstrong's about to shoot. If you look at the replay again, Armstrong is just about to shoot, and I get it. The body's slightly going down here, but he's about to shoot, and Kyle Walker gets none of the ball, zero, not a single inch of the ball does he get,
Mm-hmm.
and he's coming in from a back angle as well. And the reason he's doing that is because he made the mistake in the build-up. So if you don't want us at best, at absolute best, it's a penalty and not a red card because
Yeah, I agree with
Ake's
that.
in the box. At best, it's a penalty with Ake being in the box, so it's not a red. And at worst, it's a pen and a red. There's
The only
absolutely no way that it's not a penalty.
I agree with that. The only way I can see the ref has bottled it is because, like I said with the Ronaldo incident earlier, you can see he's kind of gone over before the contact was first made. It's like he was running through, he felt fingertips on his shoulder, and as soon as that happened, his legs were collapsing. And I think if he just waited until he felt contact from the leg, because Walker was never getting the ball, if he's felt contact domino, I think there was no argument. But I agree. I think Walker didn't get the ball. Obviously, he did take him out, even though he's already going down. I think it was a penalty, not a red card, but yeah.
So I'll tell you what, if this was
This weekend, if I'm honest.
if this was the other way around, and if this was in the other end, that would have been a penalty and a red card.
Yeah, I
Full
can see
stop.
that. I can see
100%.
it.
And this isn't, it's not just a Man City thing, it's a top six thing. If we're going to be consistent, it's a top six thing.
Yeah,
If that's anywhere
ground
else,
advantage as well.
it's a red card and a pen.
Agree. So I think a couple other games this weekend I want to touch upon as well before we wrap this up is obviously Liverpool impressive 3-0 win against Palace. I said before, you had it 1-1, I had it 3-0. I was quite confident the boys would do it. It was actually a tougher game than I thought it'd be as well, to be honest. Palace put up a great fight. I think actually 3-0 flatters us, to be honest. I think could at least be 3-1, 3-2, that kind of game, because it was end to end. And I think this is kind of a hangover from last year. I think Liverpool are going to have a lot of these games where teams is going to come at us. Last year we were so bad. We've got to now rebuild that reputation back that we're a tough team, and it's a bit of a nightmare to come in the face as teams. We've seen that up until now. They fancy having to go against us. So I think we need to grind these out. I'm impressed. Everyone talks about Chelsea's record. We've only conceded one, and that was against Chelsea, set piece. So I think, if we can keep grinding out these wins, get some momentum, I think we'll be in the mix. And I think that was it's great to see the team battle out and win like that as well. And Palace actually impressed me. I thought it'd be, a lot easier than it was. And I think 3-0 definitely flatters us. But yeah, we definitely deserve to win. But
No, it was a good performance. I was watching it, and I think Mane scoring against Palace is like,
Given now,
you
isn't
know,
it? 9 in a row.
like breathing. You know, 9 games in a row. It's an incredible stat, it really is. Um, and then Salah just turned up. You know, he's on some absolute form at the moment. Really, really good. So pay him that 500 grand a week if you want.
Yeah, sign
He's
it. Sign the contract,
delivering,
Liverpool. If
delivering at the
Liverpool let him
moment.
go, then yeah, there's gonna be riots because he's
Mm.
by far our best player year in year out. The goals come from him, the creativity comes from him. Could have had about 8 assists this season if Jota and Mane wasn't missing so many of his setups. It's crazy.
Jota missing that absolute sitter as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
But we've seen him do it in the Euros as well, so I'm not surprised.
Not great.
But just one more thing on Liverpool. I was really impressed with their set pieces. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was every goal a
Every
set
goal was a
piece?
set piece. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about that? Really,
Mm.
really good. Defensively, pretty decent. Don't think I remember a time where I was like, yeah, Paris is about to score.
Couple times.
Um,
What one time Kanate saved Van Dijk. Van Dijk slipped, and then another time Kanate looked all over the place against Edouard. When Edouard's running through, he looked like Bambi on ice trying to keep up with him. But first
yeah,
first game in the Prem, it can't be too hard. Once he's got to settle, and there's no one better to partner with than Van Dijk really to get him settled in. Obviously, shout out to Milner, had a great game actually, stepping in for Trent,
I
who
thought I thought
must
he
have been
turned back the
issues
Euro.
in the mornings, didn't play, which was a bit surprised. But yeah, Milner stepped in and absolutely bossed it. I think he was first in every stat, distance covered, no
Everything
surprise there, touches, passes, everything. So yeah, fair play to him. And Simicast
proper,
once again,
proper
he's kicked
player,
Roberts
really.
competition.
Yeah, I think Milner turned the clock back about 10 years. Like passing percentage,
Yeah,
but
ridiculous.
uh, the distance covered, running, the speed. I was just like, this is a very fresh Milner. He's probably going to take a 6 month break now, and he'll be
Yeah,
back.
that's right. He's jumping in and out, and then Kate is scoring an absolute screamer and celebrating like he does it week in week out.
Yeah,
Are
but
you not surprised? Celebration? Yeah, we all are surprised. You know,
it's the first time. It's the first time
he
I've seen him in about
the
2 years.
hamstring after shooting. I'm waiting for the injury report to come out. Kate is out for 6 months now after putting his hamstring after scoring. But yeah, hopefully we can keep them fit. Also, we got Thiago out for a couple of games now, but yeah, as we got some depth in midfield, so we can do some rotations and
That'll make the referee's job a bit easier in the next game. Won't have to pull out a yellow card for Thiago. So,
And yeah, I think one last game now that we want to touch upon is I think we all predicted this was Brighton beating Leicester,
yeah,
and yeah, Brighton,
surprisingly,
fair play to them. We said before, impressed by Brighton, and they just keep putting out the results, and it's definitely that's not a game I'm looking forward to be honest, home or away. I think they've shown some great form, defensive resilience, and obviously we did pick it, but even still, picking up a win against Leicester's impressive. So they continue to impress this season, definitely.
Basuma, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I've been raving about Basuma for a year and a half, 2 years
Mm.
now. I genuinely think he's probably in the top five best holding midfielders in the league at the moment.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, he's
class.
sick.
Really good. Then you got a real solid defensive centre back pairing. You've got Duncan there as well, and then you got Morpay at the top who can score. Um, and then you got a good, well-driven manager like Potter as well. But yeah, Basuma makes the difference. I think he's evolving as a player. It's criminal that club like United, who are crying out for a DM, haven't closed him. I think it's absolutely criminal. But I think Basuma walks into most teams at the moment: Arsenal, Spurs, United, um, most of the big teams. He could be a good replacement for someone like Fernandinho at City.
Yeah, I was thinking that. When you said that, I was thinking I bet City grab him next
Yeah,
summer. I think Svendy is on his kind of his way out of his career now. So I think yeah, we'll see. I think United. I think you boys will get him, or Rice, or City will get him. So it'd be interesting to see next summer who picks him up.
yeah, yeah. Good, it was a decent weekend.
Brilliant. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. We'll be back later in the week to do our previews of the upcoming weekend. Got some absolute great games. Obviously, we got Chelsea kicking off the weekend against Man City, I think it is, which would be a mouth-watering contest. I think that already set the tone for the rest of the season. And then we've got obviously Arsenal Spurs, which I'm looking forward to very much as well. So yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and we'll be back soon. Thank you.